saying, to me, health is number one priority, but sleep so important for us. On top of that, we need to be doing muscle strengthening exercises, and that may look different to different people. Some people I know use the bands to help that. Some people use weights. And I'm not saying, oh, ladies, you need to get the 20-pound weight and start really pumping up your body. I've had people tell me intermittent fasting is the way to go for women in perimenopause. So not like long periods, but maybe stop eating at 7 at night and don't pick it up again until, say, mid-morning.
Welcome to another episode of Nourify and Beautify, the podcast that shows you the other side of beauty. Every week, we interview the experts in the world of beauty, health, and wellness so that you can make informed decisions that are right for you. My name is Nour Abouchama. Today, we don't have Linda with us, unfortunately. She's busy with something, but she's going to be with us soon. Today, as well, we have an incredible guest, Lynne Wadsworth. Lynne is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, wellness, and cooking instructor with over 13 years of experience. She is the founder of Holistic Health and Wellness and host of Living Life Naturally podcast. Lynne specializes in guiding women through menopause, helping them to manage symptoms like fatigue, mood swings, and sugar craving naturally. She has been featured in Brains magazine, and she was voted Best of Florida in 2023 and 2024 in holistic and naturopathic practice. Get ready for an insightful discussions on how to balance holistic health practices, choose the right supplements, and manage menopause with confidence. If this is your first time listening to Nourify and Beautify, welcome. We're so happy to have you. If you are a returning listener, we appreciate your support. Don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app and share this episode with someone who could benefit from this conversation. Now, let's get into it. We want to thank you for listening to Nourify and Beautify, where we show you the other side of beauty. If you'd like to learn more about us or read our blog, please visit us at nourify-beautify.com. I'm Nour Abouchama. See you next time. Lynne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Menopause is a major transition in any woman's life, and it comes with a variety of symptoms that can be tough to manage. Can you start by explaining why sleep, movement, and nutrition are so critical for managing menopause symptoms?
Yeah, in fact, I was just talking to somebody else about this today with sleep. I mean, sleep is when we restore our cells. And of course, during menopause, it can be kind of hard, or perimenopause, for women to get a good night's sleep. But if they can learn some good sleep habits that would help them get to sleep, that is going to be when the restoration and the rejuvenation happens. And if for some reason they're not getting good sleep, then they need to reach out and chat with somebody to learn how they can change that, because sleep is one of the number one things that our body desperately needs. And even before you go into perimenopause, so many of us get too few hours of sleep. So I'm going to go out here and tell you what I believe about it, that we need to have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep to be healthy. Yes, it is. It's very hard. And especially if you live a very busy lifestyle and you've got children at home and you've got commitments. But I always say to my clients, really, you need to make sleep one of your number one priorities. To me, health is number one priority, but sleep is so important for us. And it's the same when it comes to movement. So the types of movement that we want to engage in as we get a little older and as we get to the perimenopausal stages, we don't need to be doing huge amounts of aerobic exercise, going to the gym and driving ourselves crazy. So actually, the experts recommend the best type of exercise or movement you can have at this stage of life is walking. But then on top of that, we need to be doing muscle strengthening exercises. And that may look different to different people. Some people I know use the bands to help that. Some people use weights. And I'm not saying, oh, ladies, you need to get the 20-pound weight and start really pumping up your body. You just need to be strengthening the muscle, because at this time of life, we do experience some muscle loss and strength in the muscles. So these two things are so very important to us.
Well, many women want to manage menopause naturally, but there is a lot of confusion about what happens, what actually works, and what doesn't work. So, what are some of the most effective natural remedies you've seen that help women with menopause symptoms?
So actually, the two we just mentioned, the sleep and the exercise, and then learning how to eat to nourish your body. So this is really important as a natural thing, and it's different for different people. So I've had people tell me intermittent fasting is the way to go for women in perimenopause. So not like long periods, but maybe stop eating at 7 at night and don't pick it up again until, say, mid-morning. But that really depends on your own body. At this stage of life, you need to learn to listen to your body, because your body is going to tell you what you need. So for me, when I went through this stage of life, they put me on HRT. And because this was quite a few years ago, I went into this very young. And I would have to say I noticed no difference whatsoever being on HRT. And then, of course, at that time, there were so many negative things about HRT. Since then, they have come up with more of a bioidentical way to do it, which is more natural, because if you get a good sourced bioidentical, it's going to be plant-based. It's not going to have all these nasty ingredients that some of the other things have.
Synthetic ingredient.
Yes, yes. And that really is what HRT is. And that was what I learned from some doctors that were in our area that actually believed in more natural approaches. And one of their approaches at that time was really to be using the creams. But my caution with that is that women have got to know what their hormone levels are. So do you have an abundance of estrogen? Are you low on your progesterone? We need to know that, and it can be very difficult to find that out by just a regular blood test. And one of the best ways to do that, when you think about a natural way to do it, is a 24-hour urine test, if your doctor will do it, because that measures many more of your hormones than a regular blood test, which is also dependent upon what your cycle is and what time of the month you're at. If you're in perimenopause, your periods tend to be in flux, and they may sometimes be regular and sometimes not. So it always comes down to, what does your body want? What works with your body? As I said, HRT did not work with my body, and that was a hard lesson to learn, because I was kind of well into the perimenopausal stage when I thought to myself, well, this just doesn't make me feel any different. I don't feel like it's helping me. And I did look into more natural things, bioidentical type things. And again, I would caution you on what kind of bioidentical hormones you're looking into. It's a personal preference thing, but one of my doctors suggested the pellets, which were a new thing at the time. And again, they absolutely did not work with me, and they did things to me that were totally embarrassing, and I would not recommend that to people. They gave me too much testosterone the second round around. So I think that you've got to choose wisely with a doctor who not only deals with female things, but who is very cognizant of the more natural approach as well. And many of the doctors in the Western world don't necessarily prescribe to that, but functional medicine doctors do. And if you're in a state where you're lucky enough to have naturopaths, they can be very helpful. And then online, if you look for experts in hormones and perimenopause, they can send you out for better testing than we can get at a doctor's office. And things that will show you what's truly going on, not just by a regular blood test. So you've got more natural supplements that you can take. And again, the caution there is that just because one of them might work for me doesn't mean it's going to work for your body. So that's where you need to learn to listen to your body, because you can look online, see all kinds of supplements that they suggest that you take. But it might be contraindicated with things that are going on with you. So you always need to find somebody reputable that you can talk to about it, so that you're not doing your body more harm than good.
You'll be working long time with people who are managing this period of their times. So with your experience, some people only natural health or natural remedies works better with them. Some people will need the HRCs, and some people need a mix of both.
Yes, absolutely.
How is balance? How could we know which one we need, which route to take? It's hard.
It is hard. And that's why I really recommend that you find somebody that's an expert. So I've been working with menopausal women for years, but I don't work in the area of lab testing. That's kind of out of my purview, but I can recommend experts in the field that will do a full panel that will show you what your different levels are, and then you can take it from there. What will be the best remedy for me? And of course, black cohosh is one that comes to mind that people have used in menopause. But again, you've got to know your body, because just with any supplement that we take, there's always a risk, and you always have to be aware of what's going on with you and be aware of how you feel if you're taking a new supplement.
Coming to the supplements, supplement can be incredibly beneficial, but not all of them are created equally. What are some of the best supplements for menopause support you have seen, and what should women look for when choosing these supplements?
Yes, so and I know, of course, my doctor has always recommended when you get into the menopausal years of life that you always have a vitamin D3. It's a standard one, but again, you've got to find a really well-sourced one. I don't just say to people, go to Walgreens or go to your grocery store and pick up supplements because they're cheap there. You really need to get a well-sourced and sometimes more expensive supplement that's healthier for you. And there are good menopausal supplements and this surprises people. For years, I have used doTERRA essential oils, and they have a formulation of their own that are very well sourced that can help in menopause. So you can use essential oils that will calm your body, help you to sleep better at night, can balance your mood, because let's face it, some people are very, very moody during this phase of life. So there are more natural methods that you can go in that area. There are natural methods with herbal supplements, but you have to find a very well qualified herbalist, because some of them can be detrimental to us and detrimental to our body. And if you look on the internet for what are the best hormone replacement supplements, there are so many out there that it gets done fast. Very, very confusing.
Actually, I want to go back to the essential oils, but before we dive into that word, it's a word by itself. I just have another question about the supplements, that a lot of people assume that more supplement means better health, but that's not always the case. What are some of the common mistakes that everyone, women and men, do, and how can we avoid over supplementing?
Yeah, my husband looks at my pill box because it's supplements in there, and he's like, gosh, you take a lot. Well, I suffer with migraines. And so I'm always really with people with migraines and headaches would recommend a magnesium supplement. But there are different types of magnesium. So some help more with sleep, some help more with, tightness in your legs. Or what I used to get in my feet was they would just crunch up and spasms. Then you can get one that helps more with relaxation. So you really need to learn a little bit more. So my husband, I just got him onto magnesium because he has a lot of problems with his legs and his knees. And so he went out to the vitamin supplement store yesterday and came back with some magnesium. And he said, "Oh, I got these, they'll get one free." And I looked at it and I'm like, I never recommend getting their brand name of anything, but you've done it now, so, and it wasn't quite as strong as what I use. So, talk to somebody that's knowledgeable with supplements. Sometimes, so my neurologist, who I'm still under with my migraines, even though they're so much better with living this natural life, she will recommend certain types of magnesium supplements. She also recommends the vitamin D3 for women who are in that stage of life. And for me, because I feel sometimes our immune system gets a little bit out of balance, I always take something like a zinc supplement and a vitamin C. And a lot of these will automatically filtrate out of your system naturally. So you can't overdose on magnesium. It runs out of your body naturally. So you don't want to be taking something that's going to be overloading your body. And you need to be careful. So like I know magnesium, I've had a surgery in the past, and that was one of the things that when they saw I was on magnesium that surprised me. They said, "You have got to be off that for 2 weeks before your surgery." So when you talk to your doctor about your supplementation, you need to be really open and honest about what you're taking because they can be detrimental. Yes.
Now, going back to the essential oil, I know you are a big advocate of essential oil. You're a big fan of it.
I am.
How can they help menopause symptoms, and what are the best ones to use?
So there are almost so many to mention because they've all got different things. So as I said, there are some that really will help if you've got mood swings. And it kind of depends on what does well for you. So like, for example, there's one that's geranium. It's a popular essential oil and it can manage hormonal changes and it helps balance the hormones. It restores balance and reduces symptoms of it, and it's a nice soothing smell. There are also something called serenity or even lavender. They can help with sleep. So lavender helps with anxiety, which actually is one of the symptoms of perimenopause. The lavender, the serenity, and then cedarwood. So when I was first going through this and couldn't sleep, I would mix cedarwood with lavender and rub it on the soles of your feet because that's where the biggest pores are, so it's going to get into your system quicker. And it just gives you that nice restful feeling that will help you drift off to sleep. And the good thing with that is if you wake up in the night, as we're prone to do when we're going through perimenopause, you can just rub some more on your feet because it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And doTERRA, I know, does have some supplements, phytoestrogen, that is the pill form that you can take. You can use frankincense oil. It's a great thing for just about everything. So frankincense is, of course, one of the most expensive things that you can think of. I always think of the three kings who brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So uh, it can be used as a hormone balancing oil, but there are so many approaches that you can take. And I know that there are the phytoestrogens, the flax seeds, the soy that are natural, which you're not going to find obviously in an essential oil. But your vitamin D is going to be very helpful. And there are some that you want to really avoid when you're in this phase of life. So you really need to know what's going to help you the most. So there's another one. in doTERRA called Claricalm, and it's one that you can rub on your skin, your wrists. It's actually good if you're during your menstrual cycle because it's a cooling essential blend that's topical and is floral.
Like, what's the main thing that we really need to avoid doing?
Yes, so there are some like St. John's wort. I'm told that that's one of those to avoid when you're in menopause. A DHEA is a hormone that's produced naturally in the adrenal glands, and it has estrogen, testosterone. It's not recommended. Then one that always surprised me was the licorice root, because I love licorice root. And we bought it in the pharmacy as we were growing up, and I loved it, but it actually is very high in potassium. I happen to run a high potassium, so it's not good for me. And then some experts say to avoid iron when you're in menopause and to avoid a supplement called Vitex, which I'm not really familiar with that one.
So it's really a process of learning about ourselves.
Yes, it is. It is.
So it's a journey that we need to do with an expert and just find the way that is more appropriate. And it's not something that I can like use my experience and give it to someone else and they can have it as is and it's gonna be helpful for them. It's very customized, personalized experience.
Yes, it is. One of the big ones that people take as they get older because they can't sleep is melatonin. And melatonin, when I take it, what it does to my body is, do you know that feeling when you feel real irritated inside and you just want to clench up? That's what that does to me. There's no relaxation and calm and going to sleep. My husband takes it and it helps him sleep. So again, you've got to learn how your own body reacts to things.
Well, this has been such a valuable conversation and I really appreciate it. But before we wrap up, can you share 3 key takeaways for women looking to manage their menopause naturally?
Yes, so one of the biggest takeaways is what we talked about right at the beginning. Make sure that you have sleep habits that will help you to sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And remember, an hour before sleep, you need to be off your phones, your iPad, whatever electronics you have. Sleep is essential is essential at any time of life, but it's especially essential for us as we're going through perimenopause. The next thing that I would say, one of the biggest things, is how you're eating. I have that I use myself, a wellness journal. So it catalogs my food, but it also, there's a place there to write down how it makes me feel. Do I feel bloated after I eat this? Well, because keep in mind that the things that you eat when you're younger, when you get into your 40s and 50s, you don't necessarily tolerate them. For me, that was yogurt, which was such an upsetting thing for me because I love yogurt. But I get belly bloat every time and headaches from it. So the other thing that we haven't mentioned at all is our hydration, which is really huge. So here in the US, we are told 8 ounce fluids of water every day, but really the average should be half of your body weight. So I realize for somebody that's 250 pounds, that's really an astronomical amount for them. So you start with eight ounces of water a day, and then you increase it as needed. So if you're smaller, so like I'm only about 112 pounds, so that really isn't very much water, but I know I need more of it. So, I try to drink, and I keep BPA good bottles, and I drink this, it's got electrolytes in it. And I like to drink 4 or 5 of these. These are, I believe, 16, no, nearly 17.5 liters. So really increase your water take. And if people don't like water, then learn how to infuse fruit into it. You can just put a gallon water jug in the refrigerator with fruits or with herbs and spices, and that does help with the flavor. If you're a soda drinker and you feel like you just can't give it up, I always tell people to go to the fizzy mineral water and then add fruits or even a little bit of palm juice to get some flavor in it until you can get used to drinking regular water. And of course, herbal tea does count. And there are some good herbal teas that can really help you sleep better, detox your body a bit better. There are all kinds there for if you've got an upset stomach, so they're really a good resource. So those are three major things.
And for those who want to learn more about your work and how to take control of their menopause journey, where can they find you?
Yeah, the easiest place is on my website, which of course is https holistic-health-and-wellness.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time. Please go us today. We appreciate all the information you gave us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Of course.